Ooh, we close. And we're live. Extreme close-up. All right, we're live from Atlanta and Detroit. It's episode 48 of the Everybody Mad. This is a live podcast right now. It's Thursday, April 15th. It used to be tax day, but they extended that because of the pandemic. So you ain't got to worry about it yet. I think they gave you a month. But it's the 85th day of the Biden administration. And we also want to say rest in peace to our homie, Earl Simmons, DMX. My name is Sid Lover. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
What's up? I'm Kenya Kabine. Thank you so much for checking out the Everybody Mad Live podcast. As always, we have a very informative and entertaining show lined up for you. But before we get into anything, just a couple of housekeeping rules that we want to keep everybody up on. Make sure if you're checking us out on Facebook, make sure that you spread the word. Tell everybody about the Everybody Mad Live podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. We have a brand new channel with some dope content, clips from past shows, full episodes, and more. And if you're checking us out wherever you can get podcasts, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, whether you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeart, wherever you get all podcasts. Sad, what's been happening with you, bro? You been all right, man? Had a good week?
Yeah, been good. Just doing some stuff. I actually did a little pitch today for the company. I'm trying to get this little contract with the county. To make a little bit of extra little money over there. So did that presentation today with the folks over there at county, trying to help them get some more vaccines in some areas outside of the city. So I presented a proposal to them this morning. So been busy with that. So I'm kind of behind with a lot of the show because I've been kind of focused on that, trying to win that contract.
Yeah, I hear you. Down here in Atlanta, man, it's been kind of slow motion. I went out to dinner with one of my friends last night, went to a real nice spot here. And today I got some, I bought Coinbase today.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I bought some stocks today. So today was my first day. I bought some shares of Coinbase. So I'm very proud of that.
Who's your friend?
Yeah, my Miss Avery, she's the one who told me. She was like,
okay.
Yeah, my financial advisor. I've been, meeting with her all day.
I was thinking about that too.
Yeah, and she was like, today is the day to jump on it. So I did that. So that's what's going on down here, bro.
That's going to look out for you. Look into Doge, too. Doge is another coin, DOGE. I bought into that, but it's real low right now. So looking for that to grow. It's funny that you mentioned stocks because I was looking at my portfolio. I got a little stash account that's a little, like, it just saves a little spare change here or there. I had it like since 2019 or something, so like 2 years. Or whatever. So the beginning of the pandemic, it was like around about $5,000 in there. I stopped putting money in it because the pandemic kind of had me scared. So I'm like, I ain't adding no more extra. I'm gonna make sure I hold on because now ain't the time to me to be putting out a lot because things were changing as far as people's finances and stuff like that. So I shut it down as far as contributing, but I still had $5,000 in there. That grew. And right now, a year later, I looked at it April 15th, 2020 versus April 21.
Yeah,
it's at $13,000. So it's grown it's grown 145%. And I didn't touch it because I'm like, nah, this pandemic might be kind of messed up. I might have to dig into it. So I never touched it during the whole thing. So it just grew. So my thing is telling everybody, get you some stocks or something, get into the market some kind of way because like now it's crazy not to have money in there because it's gonna grow. The market growing.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And that means that you're definitely buying dinner when you come to the A2, right?
Yeah. Dinner on me and everybody, everything.
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, well, coming up on today's show, we're going to be joined by my homie, Psychic Wayne, Psychic to the Stars. Plus, we're going to check in and find out what's going down up in Minneapolis with our boy, Dan Jordan. He's going to fill us in with all of the racial tension that's going on. Plus, we have an update on the Derek Chauvin trial, which is actually down to his closing arguments right now.
Yeah, closing arguments on Monday. Yeah, we're going to have some other stories, too, because it's a chore being black and brown or any sort of minority in America because we got a story that actually shows you racism for a preschooler down in Georgia. Then we go to the neighborhood where someone's walking through a neighborhood in South Carolina and they get some racism, young man. And then we talk about the racism that happened when you just driving a nice car and someone happens to just not like your license. Well, they say they can't see it because your tint was too dark. So we'll talk about a lot of racism with that. And if we've got a little bit of time, we're going to Kid Cudi because he wore a dress and people mad about that. And we'll talk about some Jocelyn Hernandez going off on Faith Evans and so much more. But man, let's get this show started because it's happened again.
Yeah, man, it's happened once again. Said unbelievable, bro. And everybody is mad and continuing to talk about the protests that are happening right now in Minnesota after a 20-year-old black man, unarmed black man. I got to make sure I point that out. Unarmed black brother by the name of Dante Wright was murdered by police. Now, authorities claim that his murder was an accident because the female officer shot him and she grabbed her gun instead of her taser during his arrest, and she actually killed him. Now, Officer Kim Potter, who fatally shot Dante, resigned from the police department after 26 years, but was also arrested, booked, and released on a $100,000 bond for second-degree manslaughter charges. Now, Brooklyn Center, Minnesota Police Chief Tim Ganton also resigned too, and this all comes at the worst time, of course, as the trial of Derek Chauvin continues. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to take it to one of our homies. He's definitely a friend to the show. He's a former radio personality. He's a native resident of Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's my brother from another, Dan Jordan. What's up, man?
Hey, man. What's going on? Always good to see you, man. I hate we have to keep meeting like this, though, you know?
I know, because it's always because we're always talking about the crazy stuff that's happening racially in Minnesota, which, we had you on last year to talk about everything that was going on. And now, we're doing it again.
Yeah. I mean, it's just crazy. And the sort of the vibe here, right, with the trial going on is just, I mean, you got to be kidding me, right? Like, everything's happening and everyone's so just sort of jammed up with emotion right now. Mm-hmm. And it just takes a spark to fan a flame of just craziness. And that's sort of what happened. I mean, this was more than a spark. I mean, to give you a little bit of an idea of the sort of demographics in Minneapolis and then Brooklyn Center, you hear a lot about Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. So where you're seeing this happen is, so you've got Minneapolis, you've got, North Minneapolis, which one of my old neighborhoods, as a matter of fact, is predominantly black neighborhood. And then you move into Brooklyn Center right next to North Minneapolis. So you've got a lot of racial diversity in Brooklyn Center. It's a lower income suburb. It's a really racially diverse suburb. So, I guess if something like this, it's basically Minneapolis adjacent. So when I saw this happen, and I saw this happen at the police station and all the rioting and everything, it was just like, you gotta be kidding me. It's basically in my backyard at this point. So that's basically, that gives you a little bit of an idea of the demographics, and there's really a lot to unpack here, right? I mean, there's a precedent that's been set here in Minnesota already for accidental police shooting, which basically, if you recall the case of Mohammed Noor, he was a Somali police officer who shot a white woman who was Australian. He ended up getting a third-degree murder charge, 12 and a half years in jail. So that precedent has essentially already been set, right? So the accidental shooting. But,
regardless of accidental shooting. And think about that. There was no video to support any of that.
Right. No video to support that. And you've got someone literally pulling a gun out saying, I'm going to tase you while they're holding a gun. I mean, it's kind of hard to buy this, the accident, worst case scenario for her, it was an accident, but it's still hard to comprehend all that, right? I mean, you're holding a gun close range for a minute, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden you're saying, I'm going to tase you. Oh my God, I shot you. Basically, it just sort of doesn't add up. And someone, a 26-year vet of a police force, to make that type of an error in that type of a situation it's unfathomable, right? I mean, I guess in the day and age, it's sad to say that it's something that is not, but man, it's so heart-wrenching to see that footage and then see the family speak and then all just the outrage. The outrage is real here. I mean, you've got people out there. I saw a bunch of people on local news, because they're kind of in the mix, getting tackled and arrested and drug out. I mean, their emotions are hot right now, and everywhere. And the thing about the second-degree murder charge that I keep battling with, right? Because it's a murder. It's a murder caught on tape. Yeah. From a legal perspective, if you try to overshoot and get first-degree murder, they've got to prove intent. It's a super hard thing to prove, and it's really tough in this day and age to try to prove that. And that's, I think, what I'm hearing all the legal experts say is they're trying to prove intent, but that's why I think the second-degree murder charge is happening, which basically gives you In Minnesota, it's 4 years, I think, up to, I believe, 10. But there is there's something in Minnesota that does allow the judges to sort of extend that, right? If there's extenuating circumstances, if there's other things going on. So I want to see her get at least the 12.5-year sentence that Muhammad Noor.
Yeah, that's the precedent.
Yeah, right. That's the precedent, right? That's the precedent in Minnesota.
Without video evidence to support this case, because we all looked at and like, here's my thing, Dan. It's like they lying. Like you cannot tell me that, like, because like and like correct me if I'm wrong. Kim Porter, she is not only wasn't she the police union president, she's been on the force for like 25, 26 years. You don't mistake a taser for a gun. I'm sorry, you don't do that, because like your taser has to be on one side, your gun has to be on the other. You usually put your taser on your lesser hand. So I'm left-handed. If I was a cop, my taser would be on my left hand, which means if I need to fire it, I need to reach across my body with my actual hand to actually get it. And she knows she didn't do that. And she knows that a gun is way more heavier than a taser. So I'm like, why do we allow the media just to lie? Because I think that's what the police chief just said straight off the gate. Oh, it was an accident. I know that's what she said, taser, 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 but that's a lie. I think she just said that to cover her own ass.
And it's not like she was reaching for the taser and then just went and got it. She had the gun in her hand. Yeah. While she was talking and saying, "I'm going to tase you." So, I mean, how is that an accident? I don't know. It's tough to see. So just to give you guys just a little bit more insight on sort of policing here, you know, in Minneapolis and in the area, there was an incident that happened just a couple of days ago. It involved a white guy going into a hardware store. He was fighting a mask mandate, right? So he got mad at an employee, hit an employee with a piece of wood, I guess, ran out of there. This is a white guy that did this, remember. A cop chased him down. There's video of a cop hanging off this guy's truck while he's driving away. The guy hits the cop in the head with a hammer. This guy's alive right now. He's arrested, but he's alive right now in jail, right?
He's alive?
He's alive.
Well, yeah, I'm not surprised. He's white. He's white.
Right. So, I mean, there is a precedent with policing, and it becomes more clear. And there's so many episodes and there's so many examples of just the racial disparity. It's, you know, for anyone who still, you know, says anything other than there's a huge racial disparity in policing is just out of their minds. Because we have so many just in Minnesota, just in the past week.
Yeah. I think I got video of what you were speaking about, Dan. Is this it?
Oh yeah, yep. That's it. The cop got hit in the head with a hammer, apparently, and that guy lived to tell the tale. So that's one version of policing, and then what happened to Dante Wright is another version of policing.
And Dante Wright got killed. You know, like he's, you know, it's really sad. Let's talk quickly, Dan, and we appreciate you joining us too about the Derek Chauvin trial that's happening right now. Closing arguments are going down. What are people up there saying about that?
So there's a lot of mixed emotions. I mean, everyone, I think, with a conscience wants a murder conviction for this guy. Again, I'll go back to sort of the legal precedent of first-degree murder versus a manslaughter conviction. If you get him on a murder conviction, he goes to an appellate court and tries to appeal that, and it may get thrown out because there's, you know, how do you prove intent? You know, even though you've got a guy standing on a neck for 9.5 minutes, you know, how do you prove that he went there specifically to kill him? The other situation is a manslaughter. That sticks. That 100% sticks in my mind. You've had, you know, the testimony that I, you know, really appreciated actually from police officers is them saying, you know, no, this wasn't protocol. This is not how we teach our cadets to police. This isn't, you know, so they basically didn't have his back, or there was a couple of officers there that didn't have his back.
In that blue wall a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So I think people here are sort of feeling like, okay, you know, everyone's sort of collectively holding our breaths, right? Because, you know, it is what it is. It's you know, we all know how these typically end. So we're just, you know, kind of on edge. The city's sort of on edge too. I know if it doesn't go the right way, or if this thing turns out badly, there's already been some looting in uptown Minneapolis. There's already been some destruction of property there. So people are already sort of on edge, ready to just fucking, you know, burst. They're ready to just burst. And if this thing goes the wrong way, I think we're going to see a city that's just, burning again, unfortunately. And it's sad.
People are frustrated, you know what I mean? And I'm not condoning, the behavior of looters or anything like that, but it's just everybody's frustrated because no one wants to see, like you said, we all want to see a murder conviction. And if we don't, it's not going to be good for Minneapolis at all.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, I'm not for the looting and rioting either, but I understand that looting and rioting is not a rational act, right? An irrational act brought on by just extreme circumstances. So and this is certainly one of those extreme circumstances. So when you mix those two together, I mean, I hate it, but it's some part of me is like, I get it. I'm certainly on that side, but I wish there's. The majority of people who are out there, Black Lives Matter, like all these people are protesting peacefully. They all just want a peaceful resolution, but they want their voices to be heard and they just want to be somewhere. Like, I live not too far away from the Brooklyn Center Police Department. I really thought about going down there just to be a presence, not to disrupt, not to do anything, but a lot of that was just emotion. Like, I just want to be here for this moment, just want to be here for the community. And that's how a lot of people felt, I think, out there that were getting interviewed. They were just like, hey, I want to be here for the community right now. And we don't want to cause any problems. So you see this sort of exacerbated on national news when really it's a handful of people that are, looting and rioting, and the rest of them, are really peacefully protesting, just want to get their voices heard, just want to be out there for the community.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're going to have to follow everything that's happening up there in Minneapolis, man. And, bro, our prayers are with your city, man. And as always, Dan, we really appreciate you just checking in because we know you're a busy cat. Just to take time to talk to us, man. Unfortunately, under these circumstances, because you all got to know that we all used to do radio together down in Myrtle Beach.
Definitely go back to Myrtle Beach so we make sure that, like, it's not a funeral or death every time we get together.
I know, right? Yeah, but... yeah, good to see you guys again, man. Glad you guys have this platform. You guys are doing the show. It's great to see you guys again. And man, anytime, happy to help. Been friends for a long time. So anything you guys need,
Definitely, brother. We'll tell the family we said what's up there, brother, and we will talk to you soon. All right, Dan?
All right, sounds good.
All right, brother.
Care, guys.
All right, Dan.
Take care. Yeah, man. Dan Jordan right there. I forgot to give his IG too, but I know you flashed up throughout the screen too. Yeah. Leave your comments with the Everybody Mad Live podcast. We're going to continue to give you all more show because we have Psychic Wayne coming up right after this right here. With everything that's going on with police brutality, and we just got through talking about this, even with the climate that we're living in with police brutality, George Floyd's death. Another video hit the internet this week showing officers using excessive force on a Black U.S. Army officer in Windsor, Virginia. Now, this happened all the way back in December, but the footage just came out, and the footage is shocking. I tell you, it blew my mind just to see it. It shows an officer being pepper sprayed. It shows, I'm sorry, not an officer. It shows officers pepper spraying, pointing guns, and pushing a Black U.S. Army officer to the ground during a traffic stop. And during the stop, police officers actually believed that the Army officer was missing a license plate on his new SUV, so that's why they pulled him over. Now, one of the police officers, he's been fired following an investigation. Second Lieutenant Karan, did I say Narazo, that's his last name, who's actually Black and Latino. He's actually suing over the incident, claiming that the two officers... I'm sorry, said?
No, I said as he should. He's suing.
Yeah, absolutely, as he should. He's suing the two officers that violated his rights guaranteed under the First and Fourth Amendments. The other officer, his name is Daniel Croker, actually is still employed as we speak by the police department. Now, said you have video of another U.S. Army officer, except he's white, out of uniform, and harassing a Black man.
I did want to make sure that we kind of show.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about this.
Get out of the car right now. Now.
This is not how you treat a vet. I'm actively serving this country, and this is how you're gonna treat me. I didn't do anything. Whoa, hold on. What's going? Hold on.
He's scared.
Right.
Get out of the car.
Look, my hands are out.
Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car.
My hands are out.
Don't reach in there, Daniel. Don't reach in there.
My hands are out. Please. Please, look. This is really messed up. My dog is in the back. My dog is choking right
Get
now.
out of the car. Take your seatbelt off. What are you, a specialist, corporal? What are you?
I'm a lieutenant.
Lieutenant, get out of the car. Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car.
See, like stuff like that.
You made this way more difficult than it had to be. You just complied. Get out of the car.
My seatbelt.
Fine. Take your seatbelt off and get out of the car.
See, you got to be familiar a little bit with
Straight
some
on
of the
the
ranks
ground.
in Army. And did you hear him call him, what are you, a specialist?
Down. Let's
Like,
go.
that's one of the lower ranks.
Let's
And there.
go.
Clearly, he's not a specialist because you can see what he's wearing and you see his insignia and stuff like
Get
that.
on the
But just another thing
ground.
to lessen what little power that or prestige that
Get on the
you have.
ground. Get on the ground now.
Please talk to me. Get on the ground.
He's scared. Now, what if that happened to you? He's playing it calm. He's saying, yo, I'm afraid to get out the car.
Why am I being treated like this?
You're
Why?
not cooperating. Get on the ground.
Man. I'm telling you, this is how it is to be a person of color, of any ethnicity in America. You get treated like this all the time. And it's something that Sid is used to, something I'm used to. And this could have been any one of us. You know what I mean? But this dude is a lieutenant and still got treated like, and he was doing everything by the book. Everything by the book. And I see how the media, the conservative media, they're trying to put a spin on it and saying, well, he had a loaded gun that was under the car, under his car seat or something like that. But he had his hands up. He wasn't going to use it. He had his hands up the whole time.
He had his hands out of the window.
Yeah.
At a slow speed. And he eventually pulled over. So you can't get mad at someone pulling over to a well-lit location. Like, you can't get mad at that particular thing. I think this is a good comment that we can put a pin in. Betty is saying there's no accountability. There's no accountability. If nothing happens to an individual, they're going to repeat the behavior. We've been saying that since we started the show. The reason people keep doing the stuff that they do is because they can and they get away with it. She had another comment.
That's my auntie right there, too. That's out to Aunt Betty. Yes, the outrage is real. It's hard for me to believe. She accidentally shot the gun. Okay, so we're talking about what happened up in Minneapolis. I want her to be found guilty. I'm so tired of these shootings. I think everybody's tired of the shootings. She says that I have no empathy for this woman. I believe that she's had her intern. I believe that she had her intern with her. I could say more on this subject, but I will leave it alone. Intent doesn't excuse the behavior. The sad thing is, if things don't change, there are going to be a lot more cops getting killed. I hope not, but I feel something terrible is going to happen.
Yeah. We got to do something to cool it down a little bit. We got to do something to cool it down. But since we're talking about like the future and what might happen, I think now is a good time that we can kind of look to the stars a little bit and kind of see that there are some answers. Wait.
But before we do that, I want people to see that other clip too.
Oh, you want to show the South Carolina clip?
Yeah. Before we get into Wayne, and Wayne, we're coming right to you, but this is crazy.
They've already been called. They're just waiting. You know what? Maybe you should hang on a little longer. We'll see how it goes. Then we won't have to get the report by ourselves.
What is it you're doing here?
Walking.
Then walk.
Out.
Okay, and that's what I was doing. She came out of the house.
Well, you've been here like 15 minutes now.
Let's go. Walk away.
Keep walking.
Walk away.
Why?
Walk
Why he got to walk away?
He lives in the neighborhood.
That looks like a sidewalk to me. Nobody's property. It's public.
There's a difference between
Pretty
pushing
sure you were the aggressor, buddy.
You're aggressing on their neighborhood.
Someone came running.
Walk back.
You better walk away.
sorry.
You walk away. You're talking to my wife right now.
That's your wife?
Walk away.
I didn't do
Walk
that.
away.
Your wife was speaking.
Check it out. You either walk away or I'm going to carry your ass out of here.
Dude, if you touch
What do you want to do?
You better not touch me.
Or
I'm
what?
not arguing.
What are you going to do?
You up on me?
Let's go. Walk
I'm not.
away.
I didn't do anything to you.
I'm about to do something to you. You better start walking.
I didn't do anything to her.
You better start walking
So
right
when
now.
you come after me like that,
I ain't coming after
you're the one in the
you.
wrong.
You're in the wrong neighborhood, motherfucker. Get out. Get out.
I live here, sir.
Where? Where's your house? What's your address?
Maybe we should.
So
As a result, protests are happening right now.
So that was the response to him being asked to leave, he had a whole flock of people coming to support him. So
that's right. As well as he should. And that's how we need to do. We got to stand up for what's right as people. This stuff has been going on for way too long. And I'm telling you, black folks, we ain't here for the bullshit no more. When stuff like this goes down, this young man was walking in his own neighborhood.
Minding his own business.
Minding his own business. And now you have this white couple, this racist couple asking all these questions, wanting to know where does he live, all this kind of stuff. But then when the young man asks them a question,
they got all kind of people living in that neighborhood. That's Columbia, South Carolina. Like, that's not a gated, gated, like exclusive, like only millionaires live there. Like, sir, calm down. Like, sir, you make $45,000 a year.
Right. Those houses cost $150,000. Right. I'm just saying, they're nice houses. Ain't nothing wrong with houses,
it's like he's acting like he's in like an exclusive $1 million house neighborhood, like to where, well, I've never seen you around here, and you're a black man, and I know everyone because we're tight knit. Like, that's not what it is. Like, you don't own that neighborhood nor the public sidewalk. So like that was crazy to me. The whole situation.
That was wow. Well, make sure that you like and subscribe if you're checking us out right now on YouTube, on Facebook, on all podcast platforms, as we continue to bring you what you need. We're getting ready to bring out one of our really, really good buddies. He's just an amazing dude. This is this is like all my best friends are on the show today. And I'm loving it right now. But he is Psychic Wayne, Psychic to the Stars. You heard him a lot on the Ricky Smiley Morning Show, and you hear him on countless other shows too. He also has a podcast that he's going to tell us about. But anyway, this is my dog, Psychic Wayne, Psychic to the Stars. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's going on? I can't see anything.
Oh, you can't see anything?
No, it's frozen or something. Yeah.
Oh wow, we see you.
Where you find?
You just don't know how to work that. You don't know how to work new technology. That's all that is.
Well, I can't see you guys, but I can hear you. I can hear you fine.
Awesome.
All right. Well, man, it's really, really good to have you on with us, Wayne. Tell everybody, how long have you been, just for the people out there that don't understand astrology, tell everybody exactly what do you do? What is your craft? Explain it to the people out there that might not know.
Well, I've been reading the tarot for 20 plus years, and I've been studying or being an astrologer or studying astrology, because you never learn enough about astrology, for about 9 years. What I do is, a lot of people like to simplify it. Oh, well, if you're psychic, you can tell the future, then, why you didn't tell us that this is going to happen? Why didn't you tell us about 911? Why didn't you tell us about this virus that we have? It's not that simple. Right. And getting back to what I do, I offer guidance for conditions for people making decisions about their lives in order for them to kind of reach the pinnacle of their potential. So it's as simple as that, but people make they want to make it more simple than it really, really is, Yeah.
So my super save auntie in South Carolina said she wasn't gonna watch this show because we got a psychic on the show or whatever, because she one of them black folk that just think that that's devil worship and whatever. So let's have that conversation because I know you get a lot of that and people don't understand the correlation between still being a Christian and having a faith, and also having an understanding of astrology and zodiac and things like that. Let's have that conversation.
Sure. Well, the bottom line is that history goes all the way back to when Christianity was born. Right. People don't understand or know that the Bible itself is based on astrology. That's why you have 12 apostles or disciples. You have the 12 tribes of Israel. The actual Holy Bible, the word holy, comes from kind of a conjugation of the word helium, which is sun. It's actually called the sun book, is what it is. It's the book of the sun. So the church told people, look, we know how this works, and we're going to use it, but we're not going to tell them we're using it, because if we tell them that we can get our own messages from God, They're not going to come here. They're not going to come to church, and then we're not going to have the money. So it's rooted in that. It's rooted in the fact that the church made this bad, even though they still practice it. And even though the Bible, the religion itself, all three major religions are based on astrology. People don't know that because they don't teach that.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting that you said that too, Wayne, because I know that a lot of the newer generation, the millennials, aren't really going to church. They're not spending a lot of time in church because, they find that, there's a lot of hypocrisy with the Black church, in 2021. So what's your take on that? Because what they're doing now is they're turning to astrology. And I guess just like you said, astrology and religion is kind of hand in hand. So what's your take on that?
Well, I think that the millennials and a lot of people today are turning to astrology because astrology helps us understand ourselves. It helps us understand how we relate to other people. That's the core of it. When you go to church, you hear the word, and I'm not putting that down. That's fine. My mother is a devout Christian. That's fine. But my issue is that the ministers, the church, and they throw out these little Bible verses about you shouldn't see astrologers, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't that. They don't read the passages before or the passages after. They just take that particular one. And that's what's been told to people in the Black church and people in church in general, that you shouldn't consult astrologers, you shouldn't do this. And by the way, let me just say, I don't really consider myself psychic. I was given that name when I first started doing radio. The word psychic it comes with so many images. I mean, people think I'm going to be, riding on a magic carpet or reading their mind and that kind of thing. But, I that's just the name that I adopted. So, and you know what? Speaking of the Black church, I've been noticing, especially here in LA, there's a station here called KJLH. And on Sundays, they have this woman who she says she's prophet or whatever, but they call in and she's predicting the future to them, telling them what's going to happen, or you're going to get a financial blessing or whatever. How is that different from what I do? How is that different from what I do? I don't know, I try to understand that, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's been a long history. And you know what? Let me just say this. This is so. I have when you bring this up, I'm so many thoughts going through my mind. I can't even get them all out. The whole thing, especially when it comes to people that are of African descent, when people mention the voodoo or the Santeria, those African-based religions, they shriek, they run like, "Oh my God, that's the devil." I think that is the most disrespectful thing in the world because that is the original belief system of our ancestors that they were taken away from, brought here, and told by the white master that you are not to believe in that. That is black magic, and you're supposed to believe in Jesus.
Yeah. I think
y'all get geared up here. I don't want to get geared up.
No, but it's good conversation, and your sound kind of
your sound broke up a little bit, like the last 10 seconds. Of what you're talking, but we should be okay, I think.
Okay, well, I'll just say it again. I don't know if you heard, but what I was saying is that they were brought here, and the slave master made them believe in Christianity and told them that their own original homeland religion was the devil. And here we are, 500 years later, people still believe that.
So I was, I've always been a person. Obviously, I'm born and raised in a church and brought up in the church and work at a church and all those things. So like I'm kind of like a churchy type of dude, but not as far as my outwardly actions. As far as like I'm not a Bible thumping type of church.
Turn
but
up your mic a little bit, Sid.
My mic.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it was just you're a little bit low, but you're good. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. No, I was so just kind of balancing that, but I've always had an affinity and a love of looking at zodiac and things like that because I think that it's been a good predictor of a lot of my relationships. Has been very consistent with the type of person who I am as far as what I've read about my particular zodiac sign and things like that. So is zodiac? So we're in Aries season right now.
Right.
Zodiacs, is that a good kind of way to be able to use astrologies to be able to be a good predictor of whether or not I should get with this certain person? Not me per se, but
right. Well, let me just start by saying this. For me, when I do a natal reading or whatever, the most worthless thing I can give you is a prediction. Okay, this is to help you understand who you are and then help you understand your interaction with that person. Now, getting back to what you were saying about zodiac signs, I have to tell you, and I have to be honest, I write horoscopes, but that's what we call baby astrology. That's not real astrology, because the sign, when you speak of, oh, I'm a Virgo and I'm dating a Capricorn, that is only the sign. In real astrology, you got a moon, you got a Venus, you got a Mars, you got all of that, and they all work together in a symphony when you talk about compatibility. So the sun is only like a fraction of it, you know?
Cool.
What is your sun sign? And that's the only thing people know mostly. They know their sun sign. They don't know that they have a moon.
Well,
Aries?
Aquarius.
Aquarius. Oh, okay. Okay.
So what kind of people? What kind of traits are Aquarius?
Good and nice people.
People that shit on you.
Well, Aquariuses are, I have a lot of Aquarius in my chart. Aquarius, they fight for the bullies, okay? They stand up for the bullies. They can also be a little bit detached. It's interesting that you are an Aquarius, because the way you do this show with all of the graphics and everything, they're very good at technology.
Yep.
That makes sense. You can really, really be detached. Sometimes it's kind of hard to read you guys,
Yeah.
Is that you feel that way? Okay, what about Sagittarius? I'm a Sagittarius, Wayne.
Kenny, you are a true Sagittarius. You really, really are. And here's the thing. When we talk about real astrology, when I look in a natal chart, even though Sed is an Aquarius, it depends on how everything is lined up, because your sun can be an Aquarius, but you can have aspects to that Aquarius that makes you less Aquarian. I mean, you can have like four planets in Scorpio. Your sun is in Aquarius, but you're really more like a Scorpio. You know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So that's real astrology, right? Because that's why I tell you, all 7 billion people in the world are not going to fit in all 12 signs.
That makes sense.
Right.
You have an ascendant, you have a moon, you have all of that, and it makes you who you are.
Yeah, the sound kind of broke up towards the end. I didn't hear that last part,
Okay.
Wayne.
Okay, your whole natal chart and the way it works in symphony with each other makes you who you are, not just your sun, not just your sun.
Okay.
Right. And can you get it? You are very, very Sagittarius.
Explain that though but when you say that though, for the people that don't know, like, what does that mean?
Well, because I know and understand Sagittarius. Sagittarius are very social. They have very big personality. They love to be around people. They love to socialize. All of that. They love to travel. All of that you are. That's the main thing I see in you, is your Sagittarius stuff. Even though I don't remember your Golden and all of that stuff.
Right.
But yes, you're Sagittarius.
Now, what they say about the lies the Sagittarius be saying?
That's a whole lot. Don't you sit up here and lie on me on this podcast. And I got my family watching. Shouts out to Aunt Betty.
Truth be told, Sagittarius are what we call the truth seekers. So they generally, a good Sagittarian doesn't lie. They want the truth. They only say the truth, and sometimes they can be a little bit too blunt about the truth. They kind of speak their mind more than they should. But they're ruled by the planet Jupiter, and Jupiter is what we call the general ruler of Augustus.
Yeah. Okay. And you know what, Wayne? Getting back to the church too, and I just got to say this too, because I see my aunt just left a comment. She said, "Psychic Wayne, I agree with you about the church. I was raised in the church, but I also realized that the church is and can be the source of our problems. hey, I am also a Leo, so what's going on with me?
My Leo sister.
What'd you say, Wayne?
Okay. I'm a Leo too. I call her my Leo sister.
Oh, okay. Leo sister. Okay. So, because Wayne's auntie, Wayne is a Leo too. So she said, what's going on with her? I guess you would have to know her birthday and all that kind of stuff too.
Well, yeah, I mean, we can talk about the traits. Leos are dramatic. You know, we like to be the center of attention. We have big hearts. We're very generous, right? Just don't take the spotlight from us. That's what we like. We like to be praised. And Leo in the zodiac wheel, Leo rules the 5th house. The 5th house is about what we create in life. It's about our legacy. It's also why the 5th house rules children. Yeah. So what it is about Leo is that, okay, I created this now. I want to hear how great it is. Tell me how great I am. You know, that's the core of what it is. Yeah. And we can be a bit bossy, you know, a bit, yeah, a lot bossy sometimes, and wanting to have our way.
My sister.
You say your sister what?
My sister's a bossy Leo.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know some bossy Leos too. You know, we have a couple of stories, Wayne. We want to keep you on while we talk about some of these stories that we want to wrap up on the show. But there was a situation that happened here in Atlanta. I don't know if you all heard about this or not, but this went down at a daycare here in Atlanta where employees were actually serving white children lunch before the black children. And the picture went viral. Everyone found out about this unthinkable situation when the screenshot of the racist behavior at Kids Are Kids Daycare hit the internet. The state agency that regulates daycare centers, Bright from the Start, Georgia's Department of Early Child Care and Learning, they've actually launched a probe. Now, the state said that if the complaint is substantiated, the center could receive a fine on the low end, or they could actually have their licenses revoked as more severe penalties come about. But what do you guys think? This is really sad to see this right here, because when I first heard the story, I was like, come on, you know, I'm just like listening to the news. But then when I saw the picture, I was like, what is, I mean, these kids are like 2 and 3 years old. He ain't got no food.
He ain't got no food. Like all the black kids ain't got no food. But this looks like I'm trying to see if this is a black worker right there. But they did have a statement that they released trying to apologize, you know, the standard thing that we always hear those companies come out with, because it is a part of a franchise. So it looks like that franchise has come and tried to at least cover the name of the daycare and take them out of their franchisee or their affiliate list, because right now the daycare looks to be old. But that's crazy.
I need to see the picture. Are the white kids sitting separate from the black kids? I can't envision this.
No. Oh yeah, because you can't see what's going on right now, man. But they're actually the white kids and the black kids, they're all sitting together. So you might have like 2 black kids at a table, 1 white kid at a table. So that's what it kind of looks like. Yeah. Well, actually 2 white kids, 1 black kid
at a table. Mixed. All the tables are mixed with white and black kids, and it's about 3 or 4 tables. And the kids pictured, all the white kids pictured have plates in front of them. All the black kids in the picture do not have plates. So it's a screenshot of a security footage that the child care center gives parents access to. So one of the parents with a child there just happened to be on that surveillance video and took a screenshot of it, and that's what he discovered.
Oh wow!
Yeah, unbelievable. You know, I want to get back to something that was kind of funny too. When Wayne and we met from Ricky Smiley. Ricky Smiley introduced us. Said, I don't know if I told you that or not.
Right. Yeah.
And you know, I was trying to get Wayne on to do some radio with me in Savannah. You know, finally we got him on, but it was so funny because, you know, my program director at the time kind of had that whole, well, I don't know about, you know, this psychic Wayne and this and that and this and that. But dude, you sitting up here reading horoscopes on your show every single day. It's the same thing. Like what?
Every day.
I don't get it. Like people really trip me out, and these Bible toting folks, these Bible toting folks, and be like, "You going to hell? You going to hell?" They're such big hypocrites. So you know, I just want you to know, Wayne, that you know we stand with you, bro, and I'm super proud of you, man, and I'm proud to call you my friend because you're a good dude. You're a spiritual brother, and you know, people just tripped me out with that. I just wanted to
just
say
like
that.
I think people just have a thing of just if they don't understand it, then it's automatically bad. Like you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand why we don't. If we don't understand something, what I normally do is I ask Google or I try to find out about it so I can see if I like it or not. But people just don't have that desire to even investigate certain things if they don't know enough about it. Like they'll just hear what it is and then they'll just basically just assume that, like I say, this thing, same thing for COVID and the vaccines and all the misinformation that's going out there. Wayne, let me ask you this: what do the stars maybe say about maybe COVID? Like, would we have gotten a warning or something through astrology or something like that, or something happening in some sort of house or something like that? That's kind of causing us to still be in this particular pandemic worldwide.
Well, yes. What happened back in January of 2020, transiting Saturn and transiting Pluto, they made a conjunction, meaning they were right next to each other. Now, we astrologers have been talking about that for years. We didn't know what it was going to bring, but we do know when those planets connect, like they were connected before World War II, they were connected before 9/11, they were connected before the AIDS virus came out. Wow. We didn't know what it was going to bring. I can't predict something. I don't know. I didn't know anything about COVID. You know, using astrology, I'm not going to be able to tell you, oh, well, this is happening, so we all going to catch, you know, COVID is going to take over the world. I can't tell you that. But we knew something was going to happen that was going to be major and affect this world. Didn't know what. Didn't know what at all. But we know when those two planets, because they're outer planets, whenever they connect, they cause really, really big societal changes. And you guys were talking about what's going on now, like Black Lives Matter and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Pluto and Uranus, they kicked off back in 2012. They kicked off Black Lives Matter. Now, listen to this. They made a square, which is, you know, how the planets talk to each other. Those same two planets back in the 60s made a conjunction. They brought forth the civil rights movement. Wow. Mm. So we know when these planets are connecting, we know something is going to happen. We don't always know what. Right. That's what astrology is. Astrology is all about cycles. Things that's happened before. We know when this is going to happen again, something's going to happen again. And you know what? You guys were talking about Minnesota. I'm really concerned about that because, and I'm not trying to be an alarmist, but the natal chart of the city is still having some really, really difficult transits. And it's a Neptune transit, and they've been having difficult transits for about 3 years now because Neptune rules really slow, and they're going to have another 2 years of it. So chances are, whether this guy gets off or not, they're going to have some problems.
Yeah. Mm. Wow. Have to deal with the trial for what just happened, last week.
Yeah, I mean, that's part of that transit because everything. Who would imagine that something else would happen after what happened last summer? Something similar to that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because emotions are still real.
Yeah. That's really unfortunate. I know we talked too earlier about the young man that was killed up there, Wayne. I know that you said you had some information. You pulled his birthday, Dante, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of like
I did. And see, here's the thing.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, sir.
No. Let me cut you off because I guess the sound is a little bit off. Mm-hmm. And it's not ethical to be predicting that. If Dante had came to me and gotten a reading maybe a week ago, I would have told him, look, it's really, really difficult transits that are going to be happening. So you have to be very, very careful. I didn't have his birth time, but I had his birth date and where he was born. And transiting Uranus was making a whole lot of problems in his chart to his Neptune and Saturn, to his moon and to his Mercury. Uranus is the planet of things happening unexpectedly. That changes your life. And sometimes it's not always bad. It can be good. Like when somebody wins the lottery, that's the energy from Uranus. Okay. But in his case, unfortunately, you know, it was a situation that happened. It was involving Saturn. Saturn rules authority, making a bad transit to his natal Uranus, and then transiting Uranus chimed in on that. And then that's what happened. And we don't talk about death in astrology. We do not. I mean, hindsight, we can look at his trans and say, oh, what happened?
Mm-hmm.
But he had come to me and said, oh, what's going on in my life? I would have never said, oh, you're going to die, because, you know, we've all had difficult transits before and we didn't die. That's what astrology is not about, predicting death. It's about giving you the conditions in order to make the choices that you need to make in order to create whatever it is you want.
Psychic Wayne is joining us right now live on the Everybody Mad Live podcast. Leave your comments. Let us know your thoughts on the show. Hey, Wayne, just a couple more things before we get out of here, man. We know that, well, a lot of people don't know. I know that you're out in LA, but you are originally from the ATL, right?
I am.
Kirkwood. Kirkwood shouted. You saw it?
Yes, Kirkwood.
You know, it's a lot of drama that's going on here in the state of Georgia right now. Well, House About Emancipation is a slave drama that's going to be directed by Antoine Fuqua and is starring Will Smith. They actually just pulled out. I don't know if you heard about this, Wayne. They just pulled out. They're no longer going to film in the state due to the new voting law that was signed here by Governor Brian Kemp last month. Will Smith and Antoine Fuqua, they said at this time the nation has come to terms with its history, and right now this just wouldn't be the move for them. So what's your thoughts on that? You fellas want to sound off on that right there? Because I believe that they're doing the right thing, and I think that a lot of companies, I feel like a lot of productions are going to do the same until this voting law changes. Yes, well, in fact, I did do an astrology post. I did this on Kemp back in 2020 when he lifted the whatever the mandate was, like in April 2020. Mm-hmm. He was having some really, really difficult stuff going on in his chart. I think that this is only the beginning, because you already know that the All-Star game, they moved that out of there. Now this move, I think a couple of other big companies, they're definitely going to follow. He's going to regret what he did. He's going to regret it. I agree with you 100%. RIP to DMX. You know, DMX died last Friday. You know, that was just, you know, I know a lot of people took that real hard. What's kind of interesting, though, fellas, is that I saw a lot of people online saying that, you know, we as the Black community, we felt DMX. And, you know, I had to kind of think about that, because I was like, well, how did we fail him when he chose the lifestyle that he chose? This is just me talking, you know what I'm saying? You could tell me if I'm right or wrong on this right here, but, you know, people are saying, you know, we failed him, but, you know, he chose to do the drugs. He chose to do everything that he did. How do we fail him? We had Iyanna talk to him and tried to fix his life. You know, like, I don't know. Like, what's your thoughts?
Me? Said I was.
Yeah, you can go first.
Oh, no, you guessed.
Well, Wayne, you go ahead.
Well, I think that you're right. And, you know, I'm going to come at things from a spiritual point of view and from an astrological point of view. Those were lessons that he had to learn. As unfortunate as it is, that situation happened to him because his soul needed that to evolve. I think everybody did try to help him, you know, but people can only do so much when it comes to something like that. It is in his chart, the potential for addiction. You know, and just because it's in your chart, I have that in my chart, but I don't choose to go that way. Right. But you know, that's a free will choice that he made. And then at the end of the day, it's about his soul evolving, needing that horrible experience to go to the next level. Because of course, as you know, that for me, I don't believe that you die and go to heaven. I think that your soul, your spirit still evolves, and it goes on till you learn all the lessons that you're supposed to learn.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
That's my take on it.
Yeah. So, so I guess my thing is, like, I don't think anybody can take any sort of responsibility for DMX life. So, like, saying that the Black community failed DMX would mean that, well, then we failed every other celebrity who's Black who had a tragic downfall at some point in their life. So I don't know how a whole section of community can be blamed for DMX, although tragic and what he had to go through and things like that. I thought that he was supported, but just like a lot of other people who are celebrities and with fame, like sometimes they don't have the best people who are close to them who are helping navigate them. So if I blame anybody, it's the people who have benefited from him but didn't pour back into him what they benefited, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right, and you know, we've all had that cousin, that uncle, or whatever that had a drug problem. So I think that goes across the board, not just because you're famous. I mean, we can be supportive as family members, as friends, or whatever. At the end of the day, you have to choose to get better. You know, we don't want that for you. You have to choose to get better at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Psychic Wayne, Psychic to the Stars. Wayne, before you dip out, man, I know that you have a podcast on Dash Radio. Talk about that, man.
Oh, absolutely. It's like a news show. It's kind of like TMZ meets the news. I take whatever the current events that are going on, and we look at the astrology of those events. Whatever's in the news, you know, that day. And unfortunately, because Donald Trump has left, I struggle now to get news. I mean, you know, I'm dealing with bringing in the Derek Chauvin stuff and the coronavirus. But we used to, every week, we had a great story to talk about Donald Trump and his natal chart. But yes, it's called Starstruck, and it comes on Dash Radio on Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I know it's a little late for people on the East Coast, but you can hear that rebroadcast on Friday mornings at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which will be 12 noon Eastern Standard.
All right, and it's a really good show, Sid. I mean, it's Sid, you got to check it out. It's really dope. And also for all the folks that want to get in contact with you, because I get that question a lot. I have a couple of friends that were like, hey man, how can I get in contact with Wayne? I'm like, yo, like I give you I'm not giving you his personal cell phone number, but I'm just going to give you the number that I give to everybody. How can people get in contact with you? Because you do readings. That's your job. That's your career. So tell people, and you're really good at it. When I tell you people, Wayne is really good at these readings. How can people get in contact with you, bro?
Thank you. As a Leo, I really appreciate that. You know, I get my Leo heart is just jumping up. Yes. You can go to my site, psychicwayne1.com. You can also go to Facebook and follow me there on Psychic Wayne. You can get your daily, weekly, monthly horoscope there. And also you can follow me on Instagram at psychicwayne1. That's where I post a lot about these the celebrity news or whatever's trending, whatever's going on in the headlines. I'm bound to have it up, get my astrological take on it, and you know, tell you what's probably going to happen from there.
Yeah, no doubt, man. We got to have you back on the show, man. We know that you're super busy.
I got a whole list of stuff I want to talk about and questions and stuff. So we need to do this regularly.
Yeah, we do. We got to. So can we? So we'll talk about it behind the scenes. But I'm thinking maybe once a month to come on the Everybody Mad Live podcast. That would be dope.
Sure, you know. Once a month, twice a month, whatever you need, I'm here.
Okay. Awesome. All right, you heard that, everybody.
Well, we got a recording of it too, so you can't back out of it.
I know, right? Hey, brother, you take care of yourself again. This is Psychic Wayne, bro. Stay blessed, and I'll give you a shot later on tonight, man. Okay.
Okay, cool. Thanks for having me. I love your show. Keep doing it.
Tell all your rich friends out in LA to check us out, man, so they can fly us out there so we can come and party and stuff.
Oh, did y'all get a vaccine? You gotta have a vaccine to come here.
I got one more shot to get.
I'm ready.
Yeah, Sid's ready. I get my next one on the 28th.
Okay. All right. We'll let y'all come then. All right.
Exactly. All right, man. Take care, bro.
All right, see you, Wayne.
All right, man. Oh man, that was dope, man. Good show.
Yeah, he was good. Yeah, I enjoy that because I think it's like to me, we should always be learning another way of navigating through this space we call life and through this space called Earth. And not to say that you got to throw up your whole religion and things like that, but like I think the more information you have, the better understanding you can have of certain things happening. And if you understand that things may happen or on the horizon and things like that, it better prepares you to make some decisions, and then you're ready. You know what I'm saying? Like for the next pandemic or the next whatever we got to face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you stay ready, you ain't gotta be ready.
You ain't got to be ready. Everybody Mad Live podcast. Again, we really appreciate you all checking us out. Don't forget to subscribe right now if you're checking us out on YouTube, Facebook, and make sure that you spread the word. And
I did a thing today too. I didn't broadcast the show on my Facebook at all, so we just sent it straight to Everybody Mad, and we sent it straight to YouTube. YouTube today was the first day we went live to YouTube.
Oh, really?
Mention that.
Oh man. Okay. What's up, YouTube?
So we'll see what happens. There might be a few people over there, but yeah, it's the first time we went live to YouTube. But certainly, we want you to be a part of the show. That's why we do it live, so you can be a part of it. So stay in contact with us throughout the week at solo.2/everybodymad. That's my Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook also. Say it, love it everywhere. Thank you for being a part of this here show.
No doubt. And I am Kenya Kabeen, one on Facebook, Kenya Kabeen on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you check us out and join us next Thursday, same time, same place, because we're going to be talking to some millennials and find out what's going on with them up in Flint, Michigan. And we have, who do we have, said this coming?
Jasmine Hall. She is a Harvard educated epidemiologist and also a public health leader that has moved back to Flint so that she can be a part of that. Because, you know, Flint's been fighting that water situation since 2014, and there are people who still do not have their pipes fixed. There are people who still don't have clean water running into their house 7 years later. I might even see if I can get the former mayor, Karen Weaver, to join the show too, and maybe we can make half the show about Flint, because that's just ridiculous. Like, still, like having to go through a pandemic where they tell you to wash your hands and you ain't got no clean water.
Right. That's insane. And trust and believe that if that was Beverly Hills, California, or, you know, where the Kardashians live, where do they live? I forgot. The part of Cali that they live. Trust me, the water, they would have had that water back fixed. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to understand, why is it taking so long to make sure that
they're trying to offer them like one-time settlement payments. So some people might get $4,000. Some people might get a little bit more. Yeah, $4,000. No, fix my pipes. Give me health care for the rest of my life, because now you made me drink lead leached water. But we ain't gonna get, like, I'm about to get mad because it's been 7 years and still. But yeah, we'll talk about the settlement, and we'll talk about how people can be a part of kind of helping Flint get some solutions, because that's another majority Black people, Black city that is up in the Midwest. I tell folks, the Midwest is so racist. Y'all come up here. Like, Dan is in Minnesota. I'm in Michigan. They both start with M. I tell you, like, we are exactly like Mississippi, except we get snow.
Yep. And people think that it's
Michigan, or just like in Mississippi, we get snow. That's
right.
It.
People think that it's different because you all are up north.
I wish.
But trust, like, even like, look at what happened in Kenosha. You know, my aunt and them, they'll tell you about that. Betty, she's up in Chicago, in the Chicago area, Antioch. You know, like, it's crazy up there.
Yeah, it is.
Very racist. But anyway, we'll talk about all of that next week. But again, we really appreciate everybody checking us out. That's it. Said, you're gonna go ahead and close us out, bro.
Yeah, we can close out the show. Thanks for joining us on the Everybody Mad, the live podcast. We'll be back next week. Thanks. All right. See you then.